Hello and welcome back to Reading of the Peers, where we chat about and discuss all sorts of movies. My name is Gary O'Brien, and joining me as always to chat about the latest releases of the last month, it is my very good friend and co-host David Scanlon. Today we're talking about the new movies of February 2023, so stick around, we hope you enjoy.
It's just like February's a nice month because it's like you've gotten to the end of January. January's tough. I didn't find it that tough this year, but February's nice because it's like that start of hope. The evenings are getting longer.
Yes.
You feel like you're coming out of winter, even though it feels like we're now going back into winter. I don't know. I feel like just with the weather outside, it's just colder.
It's a cold day in Dublin.
But conceptually, it's supposed to feel like you're coming out of winter. Six Nations rugby.
Yep.
That's
promoted on the podcast last weekend. Hope everyone went out to support the boys in green in Rome.
Yeah, that's a big one. And yeah, obviously some good movies, also some shit movies, but yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. They were all Oh, guys, just you wait. We have so many exciting things to talk about every single one of these movies. I can't wait. Just the beauty of something like Puss in Boots and the animation, and like Women Talking, that fantastic script, and Ant-Man. Ooh, this could be tough. No, hello. For anyone who doesn't know what this is myself and David going through all the new movies of the previous month, and yeah, we got some good ones.
Yeah.
But if you want to jump around, you haven't seen anything, there are stuff in the links to the time codes in the description where you can jump around.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. We've had a long day today. This is going to be high energy.
This is the end of a long weekend.
Yeah.
Not a long weekend. I wish it was a long weekend. Fuck me.
Should get on to someone about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got some great movies. We've got some Oscar contenders, some blockbusters, some animated flicks, and also a couple of horror movies as well. So it's a nice, spread of things. But also in between there somewhere, we're going to be telling about what we saw the other day as well. A segment that I've got a lot of positive feedback on.
That's good.
Someone watched My Cousin Vinny recently, and they fucking loved it. And everyone should go see that. They're plugging it 2 weeks and 2 monthly episodes in a row.
Man, I'm getting to it.
Get around to it, all right? But yeah, so I thought we would start off. Oh yeah, and then we're also going to talk about the movies that are coming out in March 2023 as well, as opposed to March 2024. I thought that was a bit difficult.
There probably wouldn't be a huge number of movies coming out in March 2024.
Because the world's ending in May.
No,
see, I come from a religion.
That I know.
I come from a religion that just we're one of those people. We're a group of people that were like, okay, look, we know we said 2012, but we just had to fix something with the calendar. We had it we were starting it on a Sunday. It's actually meant to start on a Tuesday. It's all in the engravings. So May this year, I'm telling you, world's ending.
Okay, cool. Is it before or after your birthday?
I won't say because I don't want people to know what my birthday is because it's my password to everything.
Oh, okay, that's good. Good idea.
Yeah, it's not my birthday. please don't hack into my stuff. But yeah, I thought we'd start with the movie called Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. David,
The Good, the Bad, and the Pussy.
It makes sense, but it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sit well with me, David. You went to go see this in the cinemas, and I had seen it before because
you cheated.
I went to premiere. I went to the premiere. But yeah, so Puss in Boots, because we actually haven't spoken about this very much. Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know what Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is, David, what's the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish about?
The character Puss in Boots from the Shrek franchise. How in depth should we go?
What's it about? If someone says, "Here, what's that movie about?"
Okay, he's gone through his 9 lives, but there is a fallen star which grants the finder of this fallen star one last wish. Hence the name of the movie. So Puss in Boots goes out on an adventure, on a quest to find the fallen star to get the last wish to regain his 9 lives. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, would you ask for 9 lives or just invincibility?
I'd say it's one of those. It's probably one of the things where you can't wish for more wishes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like invincibility.
No, because I think he likes a bit of danger, David. You know what I mean? He's a swashbuckling cat, David. You know?
That's fair.
Why are you asking this cat to have common sense, David?
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, that's it. Is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's some nice side characters.
Yeah.
There is some. There's a bit of a throwback to the Shrek franchise in that there are some fairy tale characters of sorts.
Yeah.
And nursery rhyme characters. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
So they make certain appearances, and Good voice cast.
Yeah, very good voice cast. So Puss in Boots is done by Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
And I spent about way longer than I'd rather admit doing that voice after the movie was done.
Yeah.
It's very addictive.
Yeah.
Who else we got? Salma Hayek's in it. She's playing Kitty Soft Paws.
She had a big month this February.
Oh, yeah, she was doing
that other movie we didn't go see.
We didn't see the Magic Mike, The Last Dance.
Yeah. Was The Last Dance?
The Last Dance, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
It doesn't matter.
David, this podcast is known for its accuracy.
I'll speak anyway. We have what's your one's name? Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh as Goldilocks.
As Goldilocks.
You got Olivia Colman and Ray Winstone as Papa Bear and Mama Bear.
Jean Mulaney.
Jean Mulaney. I like that. Jean Van Mulaney. Sorry, he plays Jack Horner, little Jack Horner. But he's a bit big.
He's big.
And then who else you got? You got Wagner Moura, who is incredible as the Wolf. And I won't say anything about that character, but one of the scariest animated villains I think I've ever seen.
Menacing.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about Donald Trump.
What did he say about politics?
Yeah, we did discuss about the podcast. No politics, but I'm talking about his time in The Apprentice, David.
Yeah.
No, tell you what, he's part of the Actors Guild. He was in Home Alone 2. It counts, David. What did he do politics after that? I don't keep up to.
I'm not sure. I only follow Irish politics.
But also Harvey Gillen.
This is the guy that plays the dog.
Yeah, he plays Perito. He's also in What We Do in the Shadows.
Do we know what Perito means?
It means I think it's a dish that comes with rice and salsa, and you can put a bit of guacamole on that as well. Perito for two, please.
Not a burrito.
Not. Oh wait, hold on now. Perito. It's been a long. It's a type of dog.
Oh, it's a type of dog. Okay, that makes sense.
No, wait.
That'd be like calling you human.
Yeah, it's like the way I call you man or boy or dickhead. It's a story, lads. But yeah, I think there was two great things about this. One, it was very funny, which I kind of feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, look, I've watched kids movie before, and I've kind of rolled. It's like, I don't know. You compare it to something like DC League of Super Pets, where it had like one good joke in it every 20 minutes, and then like the other 19 minutes was Kevin Hart just screaming, and The Rock being, "Look how cool I am." Yeah. Whereas this was like had a consistent sense of humor throughout. But also, I think what was good about it was the animation was very good as well.
Yeah, very much Into the Spider-Verse vibes. I wouldn't say like hyper realistic, but definitely like there was there seemed like there was sort of a mat put on certain characters, specifically Puss in Boots, because
just a big mat, just
or just like a shading or something where the fur just looked a little bit more realistic than it was in, say, the Shrek franchise.
Yeah.
So like I don't know the technical terms, but like just each hair just looked a little bit more
textures,
kind of texture. Yeah, exactly. So that it just brings characters to life a bit more.
Yeah.
But it like there was obviously a huge amount of animation done in this because the action scenes are incredible. Like it was just there was a lot.
That opening scene, I think some of it's online. Yeah. If you like, okay, what I would kind of say with someone like this, you don't need to see the first Puss in Boots because we didn't see the first Puss in Boots.
Well, you probably need to see some Shrek.
Like really?
No, probably don't have to.
No, but like it's just like it's such. My mother watched it and she loved it, and I'm like.
She has a poor taste in movies.
She does have a poor taste in movies, actually. That's a good point. But I think what I was more so getting at is just like, it's fun for all ages.
No,
you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
And like a storyline that just, it goes from A to B and like there's no lag in it. There's no just arc where you're kind of like just like feeling like you're wasting time.
Yeah, there was nowhere where it slowed down.
Yeah,
I think. There's a bit where it slows down, but it makes sense because
is that him in the cave?
Yeah. No, not in the cave. I was going to say him in the
the beginning
retirement home.
Yeah. That's a bit fun.
Yeah, it's silly. Plus we meet a very sweet character. But yeah, no, it's a perfect one for the whole family. I would say like if I presume this will come to Netflix. The first one's on Netflix, and all the Shreks are on Netflix.
Who do Shrek? Sony?
Yeah.
Then yeah, because they have a deal with Netflix.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll definitely be available, but yeah, it's absolutely worth a watch. And surprising though, this has been out in the US for a while, and like it's been building buzz.
It's Universal. It's not Sony. Sorry.
DreamWorks.
Universal bought DreamWorks. Oh, it's why Shrek's at like Universal Land.
Oh right. But I just kind of I didn't believe it till I saw it. I don't know about you.
You just didn't believe it was a movie.
No, I was just like...
You're like, no way they're going to have a cat up there with a sword. Fuck off. Don't be telling me lies.
And a hat. Are you mad?
And little boots. You're telling me that Puss is going to be in those boots. Yeah, right.
But I don't know. Yeah, like I that was always it was always a cool side character. I think in the second and third one, but like I just couldn't see them building a movie around him.
And they did it.
They did it. They did a good job. But yeah.
Animation's great. Like I said, go watch it for the animation. It's very good.
Time,
Voice cast very good. Script's very funny. That little dog, very good. Thought John Mulaney was fine.
Yeah, we said this that like he didn't have a huge amount to do. Is like a lot of his notes, his script notes were just
screaming. Get back here! I'm looking for a star.
Yeah. Although there was some funny there was some funny things, like there was references to Mad Max and stuff. Do you know?
Yeah, and Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
And Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun time. It's a very fun time.
Yeah.
I'd say definitely check it out if you were looking for something. It's probably like an hour and 45 minutes, I'm going to say.
I think it was 44.
It's close though, wasn't it?
See, there was 2 movies this month. I think it was this and Knock at the Cabin, which were the exact same runtime.
That just fucks with you.
One felt significantly longer than the other.
We'll get to that.
This one was a breeze.
Yeah. I think if we were doing our old awards, I'd say, I don't know if you put it in Hidden Gem, but like, let's say, Best Actor, Antonio Banderas.
Movie of the month?
We'll see. Anyway, it's top quality. It's definitely. Where is it in my top 10 for the year? I think it's like in top 5. And again, I've only seen 11, so what's that say about anything? I think I have his number. It's number 4 on my.
And look, it is nominated for a.
Yeah, let's talk about. No, well, actually, next week we'll be doing our Oscar podcast. If I can convince David to do this again, but
next week, Jesus,
yeah, I know, man, I've got a busy week.
Diary.
But I reckon this would win any other year, but because Guillermo del Toro is going around making it like he's like, the animations are real art. You have to support animation. It took us 90 hours to move the nose of the fucking puppet. They're like, probably have to give it to him. So you know what I mean? Yeah. I'd love Puss in Boots to win this.
That's Guillermo in there. Jeez, that fit quite well. Yeah, is he? I didn't enjoy that.
No, I didn't at all. From a filmmaking perspective, I'm like, that's good, but the award is Best Animated Feature. Yeah, what's the best one?
I wouldn't give it to the other one, Marcel the Shell. Either.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think that's anime.
See, I don't think it's you're animating 2 characters.
But then again, is Who Framed Roger Rabbit an animated movie?
Was it animated? I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, like it's like that mix of the 2.
Yeah, no, sorry. What I'm getting at there is it deserves to be in the animated category, but I don't think it deserves to win because like there was significantly more work put into say this movie than.
Although I don't know, I just realised they're kind of about the same thing about One's mortality.
Anyway,
one's got a little pirate cat and boots and a sword though.
We're digging into next week's content.
Yeah, next week. This is a little teaser, guys. You know, stay tuned. Where Gary is going to be like, "Where's the Batman though?" Batman should have got Best Animated Feature. I'll tell you that much. Anyway.
Okay.
Speaking of animated nightmares, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, David.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. I just thought we'd get this done up and get it out of the way.
I'm surprised you asked me to describe Puss in Boots because that means you have to describe this.
Oh, I'd actually be annoyed because you'd be like, "And what's good about the movie?" I'm like, "No, nothing good about this movie." So look, this movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, is I actually don't know where I'm going to go with this. Look, it's a movie that is now continuing the downward trend of Marvel movies that are just perfectly fine but utterly disappointing and lack any sort of creative or technical Marvel meant. Nothing stands out about this movie. It's so boring. It's like from start to finish you don't care about anything.
So
bland. And I think it ultimately comes down to the script and who's directing it. So the script was written by this guy called Jeff Loveness, I believe, and he comes from Rick and Morty, and there's a lot of Rick and Morty elements in this. But like in terms of a narrative, it's kind of just a bit all over the place. And then I think from the directing, Peyton Reed, like the Ant-Man movie, the first Ant-Man movie directed by Edgar Wright is a great movie, but you know, it was supposed to be directed by Edgar Wright, and then Peyton Reed took over, and then I think everyone gave him credit for that. And then what I've seen him do for the next 2 Ant-Man movies is absolutely nothing special. And I think this one was the most appalling of the 3 because it's like you could have put any superhero in this. You could have put Hawkeye in it. You could have put I don't know, Hulk, Miss Marvel, Whiplash from Iron Man 2. I want my bird. No, but it's just like it could have been anyone because his powers are never used to any sort of significant extent in this to make it like his movie, except that it's a heist movie, but it's not really a fucking heist movie. I think Paul Rudd perfectly fine in it, perfectly charming in it. However, I just feel like I know we're watching a movie about them going to a little quantum. So the movie's about Paul Rudd and Ant-Man and the Wasp's. Paul Rudd's kid invents a thing to map the quantum realm and sends out a signal, but all of a sudden something from the quantum realm drags them down, and it turns out that Kang the Conqueror is down there, having known Michelle Pfeiffer's Wasp, and they have a history, and it's all about him trying to get out of the quantum realm by finding a MacGuffin, and it's Ant-Man's job to get this MacGuffin, and that's pretty much the script.
And that's like 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah. That's what annoyed me about this movie as well. They were like, ooh, who is he? There's all mystery about who the villain was. I was like, I've seen it in the posters. Anyway, the point I was making was, I know about this crazy movie about quantum realms and aliens and whatever, but I'm like, there's no way Paul Rudd's going like pound for pound against Jonathan Majors in a fist fight. Yeah. That's just ridiculous. Because he's not even using his powers. So I hated that. So I just felt Paul Rudd was a bit miscast in this. Evangeline Lilly is in this as the Wasp. Barely. I think just in it to be in it.
She's like the background character.
I know, but it's just like, call it, I don't know, I'm not saying like, oh, she shouldn't be in it should just be an Ant-Man movie, but I'm just like, I would rather see her do her own thing, because I think she has a completely different, there's also this is why I did this movie, because I'll rant about it, there's no chemistry between them two. They don't even kiss in the movie. They're just like we're just told they're like in a relationship or whatever, and they just seem like they don't want to be in each other's own movie. Michael Douglas is fine in it, except for the one word he says. What's he say, David? Ants. Every time that man is asked to say the word ants, he just gives it 120%. These are my ants.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Majors as Kang is very charismatic. However, I don't care, because I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't care for it. I knew he was, it's not a spoiler, but like, because it's a multiversal storyline they're telling, there's multiple versions of it. You're like, this guy could die, but it doesn't matter, because you know, or he could live at the end or get out, but we'll know that because this is where the direction of the MCU is going. I just think it's a waste of time, of anyone's time, to watch this movie. There's absolutely nothing redeeming about it. From a visual effects point of view, it's totally fine. However, it lacks any sort of depth to feel like they're in a real place. I know they're in the quantum realm, but you just don't feel, they just feel like they're on the volume on a CGI set the whole time. I feel like the background characters and side characters feel like they're either from a bad episode of Doctor Who, or George Lucas added them in special effects.
Background characters, fair enough, but some of the side characters I thought were charming.
Which ones?
The gloopy
guy. The gloopy one. Sorry, you mean the one from Rick and Morty?
The guy who could read minds.
You mean that? Yeah. That was bullshit as well. No, there's no one should watch this movie. No, and it has absolutely it doesn't even introduce the character of Kang well enough to like know what's happening going forward. It's a waste of time.
It doesn't really describe his powers either.
Doesn't describe his powers either. I'll stop this rant in just 30 seconds. And also, what the worst thing about it was, there was these fucking weasel of kids in front of us that wouldn't shut the fuck up during the movie, and it made it worse. Anyway, that's that, man.
I tried my best.
We did. We didn't
do anything. I did it.
But yeah, okay. Sorry, I did a bit of a rant there. But what did you think about Ant-Man and the Wasp? Quantumania. There's too many words in that as well.
Yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. You're getting so worked up about this, lad. Like, just it was the same with Doctor Strange. You got really worked up about it, and I was just like, yeah.
I think it's just from the potential that's there, and then just to see it squandered.
Like it's for kids. Like they literally know they can cash in on these movies. Like I understand it's disappointing, because there was a chance there to make something interesting, but like, yeah, I've kind of just gotten to that stage now where they're cashing in. Like, you see what they're producing on Disney Plus and stuff like that. It's just disappointing. It is.
It's my childhood they're messing with, David.
Yeah, I know, but
and I'll protect them at all costs.
Yeah, but like you can't expect them to keep making stuff specifically for your.
No, I completely get that as well. Yeah. No, but it's just like,
and that's not an excuse. It's like, even for kids, I would say this is boring. But like,
it is boring. It's so boring. I've checked my watch so much during it.
It's there's nothing really happens. Like I don't know if they should have changed the what are we trying to say? The focus. So instead of them getting pulled into the quantum realm, it should have been them going in looking for the MacGuffin. Like, have them actually on a journey, rather than, it just felt like they were there and all they were trying to do is just get home. But like, that's what's the point in that? That's just boring. Like, there was nothing driving them. Whereas I felt like if there was more of a drive behind them to like, oh, we need to find this thing, and there could have been something that like, oh, we need to get in contact with this guy to find this thing. You know, there should have been more kind of drive behind the characters, but I just didn't really feel like that.
They were just being dragged around effectively.
Yeah, and then it really only came to the point where Paul Rudd's daughter, whatever her name is, gets captured. And that's the thing that's driving him. And then you see a bit more drive, and when he starts fighting, there's a bit more venom behind him, because he's trying to get to her, but it's way too late. It's like the last quarter of the movie. You're kind of you checked out a bit by then. I enjoyed there's some kind of jokey bits which I found funny, but it's probably enough that would fill maybe 20 minutes of a Rick and Morty episode. I don't want to spoil anything else. I'll probably end up spoiling if I keep talking, but yeah, it's totally fine. I would say as bad, maybe a little bit better than Thor. Yeah,
I think it's less of. I rolled my eyes less during this.
Yeah, Thor was so disappointing because he's such a good character in Infinity War
and Infinity War as well. Yeah.
Whereas and I know Endgame, it was different because he's kind of, you can tell he's suffering with PTSD, but his character in fucking Love and Thunder is terrible. He's completely different. I wouldn't say Paul Rudd's Ant-Man is redeemable. There's nothing he did that was wrong or anything. I just think he was just in a bad situation. As you say, I think this could have been a cool adventure for Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't know if they should have just made it a Wasp movie or something.
I don't think they would ever do that.
Yeah, they're not putting. Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer was great in this.
Yeah.
I had a really fun time with her. She had this like I kind of mentioned up top, that she has this previous relationship with Kang that's never really spoken about. So that she has this sort of she's holding the cards compared to the rest of the team, and that how she that kind of drips out throughout the movie. I thought she was great in it, and also I just when you compare her, she's one of the best Batman villains ever. That I kind of would like to see her, because I think in the comics, doesn't Janet go crazy or something like that? I'd love to see that. Do you know what I'd love to see a movie called? The Wasp and the Wasp: Quantumania. There's two wasps go down there, and then Ant-Man and the Ant-Men, I suppose. The wasps?
The ants, man.
Ants. Just the two of them talking about ants. Yeah. Also, they've been cashing in on that, what's it called? Baskin Robbins joke.
Yeah.
Oh no. It's not even funny. I'll get too angry about this if I keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a guy from a TV show I like in it. That's good. That was my favourite bit. The guy from I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best part of the movie.
The best part of the movie.
I think it's the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
But there's not even a good action scene in it, David. An Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, no, there's not. That's the thing. It's stuff like, say, in Civil War, the bit where he goes big for the first time. That's such a momentous scene. But now he does it all the time. And just well, okay, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. They could have depowered them or something. I don't know.
I just think the fact that they all shrunk down, because it's set up in the first movie so well that he can't go any smaller than a certain size, and he can't go any larger than a certain size. Yeah. Where in this, the rules just seem to be completely.
And then everyone has a suit.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. The joke about the ants is funny. I like that. that's a funny joke.
Ants.
See, that's the thing. I just thought there was just some little nuggets of jokes I really enjoyed, but then it's way too few and far between. It's not redeemable or anything. It's just
blatant.
Blatant. Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, absolutely. I don't even think this is going to affect anything going forward, because even there's a post-credit scene,
pointless,
which. It doesn't the one character says, "Oh, this person is here, so therefore we can do this," and that's
put in the bin.
Yeah,
blatant muck. Speaking of movies, on the movie podcast, a movie that's exponentially better than this movie, and I guess it's about size in another way, is a movie called The Whale with Brendan Fraser.
Oh, this is I don't know about you. I really enjoyed this.
I had a great time with this.
This was and I'm very surprised it didn't get a much awards buzz in terms of the film itself.
So and I think that's because it's based on a play.
I understand that. But even I thought some of the filming aspects were quite good. It's a film that takes place just pretty much all in one location. But I felt like within a few minutes of watching the film, you got a full idea of where everything in the room is, or where everything in that location is. There's some cool shots in terms of it looks, you can understand it looks like a play because it is, but and story wise, it's well laid out because it doesn't tell you everything. It just kind of drip feeds you so on and so forth as you go along. Doesn't kind of release everything to you all at once. But I think the main thing about this movie is just the performance. And Brendan Fraser himself, if he doesn't win the Oscar for best actor, I'd be shocked. And I would love Colin Farrell to win, but I just think on the balance of just
Quality
performance, I think he was far beyond better.
We'd love a tie, wouldn't we? I think Colin Farrell would be happier with a tie.
Yeah. No, he prefers a Dickie Bill.
Boo. And yeah, I guess I suppose like you say, you're not really too aware of the story at the beginning of it. Like, and I guess just as a quick background, it is a movie just about a guy who weighs a lot. I don't know, 400 plus pounds, and he basically has found out that he is going to die soon, and it's all about him trying to reconnect with his daughter. But there's other elements that sort of allude to why he's this weight, and yeah, I don't want to say too much more about it, but yeah, you're kind of just in his house for this week, effectively.
Yeah. The really good use of repetition as well. There's some bits that just keep popping up throughout the film, coping mechanisms and stuff like that. The relationship between Brendan Fraser's character and Hong Xiao's character was incredible. Again, she's another one. That's a tough race. That Best Supporting Actress one. It's not. There's no front runner really.
It's Angela Bassett.
Oh no! Well,
she'll get it. She's winning everything.
Really?
She's winning everything.
Okay. I would.
Let me check the odds.
But do you really think her performance is better? Yeah, that's.
I've been flip flopping on it a bit, but again, this is for next week's podcast, David, for us to talk about.
But no, Hong Xiao was incredible. Like, we had seen her previously in The Menu, where she plays a completely different character. She's like almost she's like an emotionless robot in The Menu, and this she's like I don't know, she's just so fired up.
A fiery nurse.
Yeah. Very anti-religion as well, which again drives the film. But yeah, and performance-wise, like, there is I think when the cast list came up, there was 6 characters in it, or 6 people on the 6 actors. So it just shows it's a really kind of tight cast. Everyone does a really good job from Brendan Fraser, Hong Xiao. Sadie Sink
from Stranger Things,
young girl. The mom is played by a woman,
indeed, Samantha Morton,
who also has a small role in the movie She Said, and she's incredible in that as well. She has a monologue in that, and she's absolutely incredible in that.
Didn't know
that. She was a standout in that for me as well. So
she's in Minority Report as well.
She does a really good job for the short period of time she's on screen. Very you can tell she's very hard-nosed, but very sympathetic towards Brendan Fraser's character. Look, overall, I hadn't seen a huge amount of Darren Aronofsky films pre this month, actually, but just the way he embedded the audience into that room or into that house for however long the movie is, whatever, and just gave us this insight to mainly Brendan Fraser's character, who's just dealing with so much, but also the way he was able to just knit in different pieces from Hong Xiao's character and the family around Brendan Fraser was incredible. I was really, really blown away by it. I probably had a little bit lowered expectation because it wasn't getting movie or story awards buzz, but I was absolutely blown away by it.
Yeah, and I think the script, I don't know, I didn't like the script too much because I felt some of the dialogue was very melodramatic and very...
It is supposed to be pulled directly, like a lot of people who have seen both or have done both, it's supposed to be
that
exactly
performance by Samantha Morton in it, for example, is very play-esque, theatre kind of performance. That's what it felt like to me. It's very monologue-esque, and I think that's kind of where sometimes where the movie lost me. But I think, like you say, I think the direction is great. I'm surprised not getting directing, but then again, it is kind of nearly just a beat for beat copy of the play, so it's kind of hard to. I'd say that probably turned some people off. The performance by Brendan Fraser absolutely broke my heart. It's fantastic. It's so good. Broke my heart in the sense of the character of Charlie, but then also I was like, Jesus, Colin Farrell might not win this. And the Hong Xiao is unbelievable. I can't wait to see what she's in next. The hair and makeup team did an incredible job. You cannot tell.
There's a time lapse you can look at it.
Yeah, I saw that actually. It's very, very good. But it's crazy because it looks quite unrealistic at times. But that's kind of to do with the body physics rather than the hair and makeup, if that makes sense. But it's unbelievable what they do. And the fact that it's crazy that you have an actor under all this sort of prosthetics and makeup, but the fact that Brendan Fraser is able to sort of shine through all that and emote and connect with the audience is so impressive. And it's just I haven't seen something like that since I don't know, Colin Farrell and the Batman maybe, but no, and so I think it's a very tough year for like hair and makeup actually this year. But again, we'll talk about that next week. And I don't know, I think it was great, and I can understand why people wouldn't like it. I know there's a bit of controversy around the movie about, I guess, to do like the issues of like sort of obesity and such like that for a character, but I think if you just take all that out and just focus on the story a bit, and kind of, I don't know, I think reading back on some of the comments about the movie, I'm like, I feel like people didn't watch it. I feel like they kind of just assumed what it was about in a way, and I think when you watch it, it kind of makes a bit more sense. And great movie about pain, grief, loss, like it covers everything. You know what I mean? Heartbreak.
Also a great use of a 4.3 aspect ratio, which adds to it as well.
Yeah, a bit of a claustrophobic
vibe. But I feel no, sorry, that's not. I was going to say that's Darren Aronofsky, but I was saying The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is 4.3.
That's the same as yeah. That's a great movie, isn't it?
All the great movies there, 4.3.
Speaking about claustrophobic movies and keeping you isolated, Knock at the Cabin.
Yes. This is your turn, isn't it?
It is, yeah. No, it's just moving on to the next one. Knock at the Cabin. I guess why I wanted to include this is, like, I had very low expectations of this going in initially.
Yeah.
And I think if I told myself, a past version of myself, what I know now having seen the movie, I would have been like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
However, I think the movie actually does a great job of setting up a lot of promise and like, oh, that could be good, but not delivering on it. So this movie, for anyone who's not aware, is a movie written and directed by old and The Sixth Sense writer and director of M. Night Shyamalan, and it is about these two guys and their daughter in a cabin, and all of a sudden they get a knock at the cabin, David, like the name of the movie.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be these four individuals who give them this sort of ultimatum of if they don't do a certain thing. I don't know if we could spoil it.
No, I'd say spoil it.
Spoil it?
Yeah, I feel like if we're going to discuss this, we need to spoil it.
Well, vague spoilers. Maybe not like 100% spoilers. 75%.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see how we go. But if you don't want to know anything about Knock the Cabin,
if
skip
you want
to the end.
But I don't know. Yeah, go on. I just don't see it. If anyone wanted to see this movie,
you never know. But like it'd be such a good like stick it on Netflix. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I could see some people getting like this. Some people did very much enjoy this. Look, we'll see. If I'm about to say a spoiler thing, I'll let you know. How about that?
Yeah.
They all die. No. They don't. Or do they? They do not. So it's basically about this movie where, like I said, these four people give the two lads and their daughter an ultimatum of if they don't pick someone to sacrifice, the world is going to end.
Yeah.
And what's great about this movie is that you spend a lot of it not sure if they're right.
Yeah.
Because they're just these four random people who've come up and said that something has sort of brought them together to see these visions, to see the world ending, and knew that they had to come to this cabin and get someone to sacrifice themselves. And kind of throughout the movie, we're sort of shown clips of the sort of prophecy someone coming true, but because there's a bit of there's one character in particular, Jonathan Groff's in it. He's not very good, but it's good to see Jonathan Groff. And then the other character, his husband, is kind of like trying to like justify and rationalize a lot of it.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like unsure if he's talking sense but I think the movie, and again, it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and it's funny actually. Can we play the clip of what I thought from last week or last month?
Knock at the Cabin, I don't know what to expect because I watched.
There's a twist in
I've
it.
seen, no shit.
What if that's the twist?
M. Night Shyamalan doesn't do a twist. Imagine.
So I spent my whole time, not to say there is or it isn't a twist, but like I spent my whole time trying to guess the twist and guess what it could be. And all I'm going to say is it did not turn out to be what I thought, and then I was disappointed in that. However, the ending of the movie didn't supersede what I thought. Like it wasn't like, oh, it wasn't what I thought, but it was better. I was like, oh, this was the worst case scenario in a way, and it's still shit. And I think we had a whole discussion leaving this cinema of like walking through everything that the movie planted throughout. We were like, this could have been a good storyline, and this could have been a good line, and this could have been a good storyline. But it's not. It uses nothing in it, and I think if you take it at the absolute face value of what it's proposing, it's a very boring movie with some just, I don't know, some really clunky M. Night Shyamalan dialogue that's not like the the same level as like Old, for example.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, so it's got that. However, you know, like I said, it's a simple premise. It's some great tension in it. Dave Bautista is unbelievable in this movie. He's
like,
so
such
good.
a hulking man. He's such a soft,
delicate, and like he's
gentle
like
joints.
obviously gone there to do quite a nefarious, not a nefarious thing, but he's going to tell these people, yeah, one of you need to pick who's going to die. Yeah. But he just the torment he's able to sort of convey throughout. Yeah. It's just he's so good. It's like softly spoken, and obviously we've seen him as Drax, we've seen him as the guy from James Bond. He was in Blade Runner, and I think of all the wrestlers, WWE wrestlers that have turned to actors, I think he is probably the best actor of them. I wouldn't say he's the most successful when you look at The Rock making 500 movies in 2 years, and John Cena is very good as Peacemaker. But Dave Bautista, he's just such good range, and obviously like he has worked with some fantastic. He's worked with Sam Mendes. Has he?
Yeah.
Yes, Sam Mendes. Denis Villeneuve. Yeah. He's now worked with M. Night Shyamalan. He worked with whoever directed I Spy. You know, he's racking up some serious. The Glass Onion with Rian Johnson.
Yeah, Rian Johnson.
So like, you know, I really hope he goes on. It's unfortunate that it's just such a poor movie that he's kind of the lead of.
But I think like in Hollywood, you need to do that if you're gonna get your name out there as if he wants to be that type of dramatic actor, which he is in this movie. Yeah, there are going to be times where his performance is going to be in a bad movie. But like, I think Hollywood is at that stage now where they can see someone is putting in a good performance in a bad movie or whatever. And even like, I'm not saying anyone else in the movie does a bad job, but I just think he is just head and shoulders above everyone because, and it probably is a little bit unfair on everyone because he just is. He's supposed, like, from everything we see of him, he's supposed to be this type of person. Yeah. But he just lets on as this completely different person. Mm-hmm. So caring, so thoughtful, just very, as you say, kind of soft-spoken, gentle giant. But, yeah, I'm very impressed by that. That was the thing that stood out for me. Mm-hmm. In terms of the overall movie, yeah, you said it yourself. Like, I think the fact that we came up with, like, 2 or 3 different storylines, which could have been a lot better than what we eventually got, was just a kind of this disappointing part. The whole like the same sex couple thing, like that's obviously like a big thing and doesn't really go anywhere.
I don't mind that though.
Not that but like I just feel like if you're gonna have it, and it probably is going to be important to some people that like you're gonna have this big Hollywood movie that has this, you know, try and make a statement about it, or try and put something out there or whatever.
I kind of like that it was just like there was the simplicity of it, of like it was just 2 dudes. Yeah, okay. It didn't have to be anything else. Do you know what I mean? And I think sometimes if kind of like, I don't know, there's some movies where you kind of like they do make a statement of it, and you're kind of just like, not that it takes away from the movie, but it's just like I think sometimes the less said the better, you know what I mean? Okay. Rather than making it seem like a anomaly of a thing. Yeah. Anyway, in a movie where the world's gonna end anyway, so it is.
And the other thing is, I thought there was some nice flashback scenes in terms of like broadening characters' backstories, but like it's kind of irrelevant to the overall plot.
Again, the directing and the editing is very weird in this as well.
It's all over the place in that terms, but yeah, I would like to actually kind of discuss those other things we came up with, but it's probably not fair to the audience. But you'll probably figure out what they are by the time you watch it.
Email us, readingthefears@gmail.com. Also, I meant to say the name of the novel, because it's based on a novel. Yeah. So that's not completely trash. M. Night Shyamalan is a much better name for the movie. The Cabin at the End of the World. Yeah. Way better. But I think that probably gets confused with The Cabin in the Woods.
The Cabin in the Woods, yeah.
A very good movie.
Very good movie, yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. I just wanted to throw it in to be like, look,
it's there.
Give it a chance if you like M. Night Shyamalan, and it's not as bad. It's not eye-rolly. It's not, you know, appalling. It's totally fine.
It'll keep you on your toes, I think.
Yeah. There's like very tense moments, and it is a bit scary. Yeah. But just don't expect anything else from it. That's the thing. That's the public service announcement we're doing. It's like it's not big and twisty. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's straight and narrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of short and narrow.
Yeah, sure. Something. I don't know. But now let's, David, like we've talked about a movie, but let's talk about another movie. Yeah. But more importantly, movies that you saw the other day, David, in a segment we call Tell You What I Saw the Other Day. David, tell me what you saw the other day.
Tell you what I saw the other day.
Here we go.
The Sting.
The Sting.
The Sting.
Now, David,
1973.
what a movie.
We have Robert Redford.
Now, David, has he got the biggest bluest eyes of the world, or is that his co-star?
That's his co-star Paul Newman.
Good. Once one of them have the biggest bluest eyes.
And then we have Robert Shaw, who plays Doyle Lonergan, an Irishman in Chicago.
And he was also in a James Bond movie.
Is he? Oh yeah, sorry, he is. This is just two boys having fun. This is like I was gonna actually put this up as my review of on Letterboxd. Is like, do you know like the John Wick world of like underworld?
Yeah.
Assassins. This is like that, except they're just all hustlers. And they obviously need to build a hustling team for a certain job, and it's just like lads coming up. He's like, "Yep, all right, take a suit, move on."
It's just an ultimate con. It's the ultimate con, and it's how long is it here? It's 2 hour and 9 minute movie of just conning this guy Lonergan.
Yeah,
it's so good. And Robert Redford and Paul Newman, they've obviously were together in
Butch Cassidy,
the Sundance Kid. But I actually prefer this movie over to it. I just think it's so much fun. But again, I do think it's a very David and Gary movie where it's just two bros having fun, two boys having fun.
Yeah, exactly. It is leaving Netflix, unfortunately.
Why you always go every month?
I know.
And I say every. I mean, the 2 months we've done this, you've served up a massive swing of a great movie, and you're like, "But it's leaving Netflix." Yeah. I watched it on Disney Plus, but it's actually gone off Disney Plus. It's only on Netflix, and it's leaving soon. Good option, David.
It could be switching over to Disney Plus, though.
Potentially. Yeah. But I tell you what, you could watch on Netflix if The Sting is off.
Yeah.
Awakenings. Which is a great movie that's directed by a person and stars Robert De Niro and
It's not directed by an alien.
Well, I don't know.
What about an elephant?
One sec. Awakenings. Oh, Coco the Monkey. Very good. It's directed by Penny Marshall, no less.
Okay.
Who did A League of Their Own, Big, Awakenings, Laverne and Shirley. Jumpin' Jack Flash. We all know Jumpin' Jack Flash, David, from 1986. Anyway, but I'm not here to talk about Jumpin' Jack Flash. I'm here to talk about Awakenings, which is a movie about Robin Williams working in a kind of a it's like a psychiatric hospital, and he's a botanist guy. He's a research guy. He's never worked with patients in his life, but all of a sudden he's noticed that these certain group of patients are exhibiting these certain symptoms, and he's looking to sort of save them. And what he does eventually is he puts them on this drug, and they begin to awaken from their sort of catatonic state. One of them being Robert De Niro's character, whose name I can't remember, but I had a good time with it. Yeah, it's just fun. It's just classic, heartwarming Robin Williams from the 90s. I'm a big fan of Robin Williams, but like he's just so sweet in this, and it's such an uplifting, nice story. And it's just fun start to end. And it's just, it's perfectly serviceable. The music is great. The direction's great. Robert De Niro is actually very good in it because it's obviously before he did like Meet the Fockers and Analyze This, where he's not playing a hard man. Yeah. He's like doing proper acting. Yeah. I've seen he's in this new movie called like About the Father or something like that.
This year?
Yeah, it's a new movie coming out, and he's just all like, he's big Italian whatever guy. Hey. Yeah. And he's like, "Dad, you gotta stop being so hey." And he's like, "But God, I'm always like hey." It's just a lot of that. Okay. Looks miserable. But that's on Netflix if you don't want to watch if you can't find The Sting.
Okay, that's fair.
You watch anything else the other day?
I had to stretch this one over a couple of days because it's a big beefy one. It's called Lawrence of Arabia.
Ooh, what a movie! That's on Netflix as well, though, isn't it?
That is on Netflix, and it's not gone.
It's not gone.
I don't think
that'll take 3 weeks for them to clear that off the server.
It says here it's still on Netflix.
There you go.
228 minutes.
But it's a swift 228 minutes though.
It is well due that runtime. I think, for the epic scale of every single scene in this movie. Yeah. It is well deserving of that runtime. Incredible. 1962.
Well, that's not fair. It's just not fair, a movie being that good from that long ago.
Yeah. It's
well acted.
Incredible.
Production design, cinematography, score. An intermission that's far too late in my opinion.
No, when that came along I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm just like,
that should have been an hour ago.
Not fair, because I knew there was an intermission. I was like, is it now?
Yeah.
But even like there's a simple thing I read about it where apparently the characters are always moving from left to right, so it's always like they're always moving in the same direction. It's always the journey. And Peter O'Toole,
incredible,
so good. I'd like. Again, the biggest blocker is it's a 4-hour movie, effectively. But no, 4 hours?
Just under 4 hours.
But yeah, and it's a classic for a reason. But it's not even like, what I like about it is it is kind of somewhat just so simplistic that it's not relying on something like, I feel like, because I've watched it recently, Apocalypse Now, where it's like relying on some of that big blockbustery action and that sort of like narration, the sort of like, this is just a fucking well-made, watertight, movie, and that's just so much fun.
It's even without, like, there is some epic scenes with battles and stuff, but even without that, the story is quite simplistic. It is a British officer trying to unite certain tribes in, or are they tribes? Yeah, they're tribes in the Middle East or Arabia, or whatever, to fight against the Turks and help the Brits fight against the Turks in World War One. So even without
based on a real story though.
Oh yeah, but yeah, based on a real character. But it is without any kind of action or anything like that. It's very simplistic. You know what the driving force is behind specifically T. Lawrence's motives and stuff like that. So there's just one thing I want to mention, and I'm sure like people have probably heard this before. There's a scene in it where Lawrence first gets his robes off the Arabians, and he is just so delighted with himself. He's embedding himself in the culture. He's learned about this culture for so long, and he's been
part of the tribe kind of thing.
Well, yeah, he's become part of the tribe, and then he builds up as this like kind of legendary character, and by the end of the movie, he becomes, I don't want to say like a warmonger or like
Lawrence Arabia.
Yeah, he comes, but like he doesn't become like a mythical figure or like a leader, but he becomes a little bit overwrought with power. Mm-hmm. And there's just another scene where it's just him in the robes and he's covered in blood and he can see his own reflection and how it's kind of how power corrupts in that sense. So I just thought that was another thing that really popped out to me. It's
probably just too fucking hot over there, to be honest.
I suppose.
I'd say it's a bit of that. Like, power corrupts. Look, I've shouted at people and I didn't mean in the heat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Brings out the worst of us.
Exactly, yeah. But absolutely worth the watch if you're a movie nerd like us.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, speaking of great movies, it's going to be my segue for this episode. Speaking of movies, I watched this great sci-fi movie, actually, all about this like human dystopian future, and however it's in the past now actually at this point, but it's all about like manipulating human relations and connections and such like that. It's called How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, David. And
wow,
for anyone who's not up to the joke that me and David, I've been running for the last, basically there's a basketball, it's basically about this girl is writing an article. It's so much fun. I had actually a great time in this movie, jokes aside. It's about this girl who's writing an article. She does how-to articles, so it's like how to style your clothes for the summer barbecues. I don't know, stuff like that. And then she has a co-worker, Catherine Hahn, no less.
Yeah.
And she's always talking about how to lose a guy. And she's like always pushing guys away. So this is all about she comes to the conclusion of like, oh, I'll find a guy and I'll do all the things my coworker does to make him go, like to push him away effectively. And then I can write an article about how to lose a guy in 10 days. However, the guy she picks is Matthew McConaughey's character, who is
sorry, who plays the other woman?
Oh, Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson.
And then Matthew McConaughey is a guy. He's an advertising dude, and he's trying to prove to his boss that he should get the diamonds account. But he doesn't know anything about diamonds. But he knows everything about love, and he's like, I bet you can make that girl fall in love with me in 10 days. And it's basically Kate Hudson just being a fucking maniac, and Matthew McConaughey have to be like, all right, yeah, sure.
No, Gary, you did it wrong.
All right. But my big joke that I've been doing all month is they go to the Knicks in the NBA playoffs, but they get to Game 7.
Yeah.
That's not why the Knicks are getting to Game 7.
No, he's
actually
making the NBA
movie
finals
that we're watching here. Yeah. The Knicks Game 7. I'll be wrapped up in Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how early though, David. They don't even need all the games.
You don't know how that works.
They forfeited, David. They'd be like, nah, tell you what, we're sick. But it's actually a lot of fun because it's just the two people fucking each other over. It's great. And then the ending kind of ruins it because they fall in love. That's not a spoiler because it's the same as all their movies.
2005?
Sure.
I think
and that's on our favourite streaming service of all, Paramount Plus.
We're not sponsored.
Although we could be.
Maybe.
Unlikely. You see anything else the other day?
Oh, one more I've got is, speaking of Darren Aronofsky, is Black Swan.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's one of those trippy ones. It was in that one.
It's way more of a horror movie than I expected.
Oh yeah, horrific at times. Like paranoid schizophrenia is really bad. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
It looks so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about this like kind of shy, timid ballerina who just loses her mind.
Yeah, to get this part.
Yeah.
To prove that she can be the Black Swan.
Prove she can be the Black Swan, yeah. Incredible. It's a popular movie. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. Natalie Portman is incredible. Yeah, a real proper kind of character study. Tiger parenting.
Oh yeah, you love a bit of that.
No, it's not. I don't love that.
No,
That's
but
not
it's
a good thing.
But you love to see it in movies. No, in the sense you're just like, I don't know.
It's
I
just-
remember you
it's
talking
inter-
about like King Richard.
Yeah, it's interesting that way. Tiger parent. What was the
Yeah,
other
that
thing?
was fucked. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Mental illness. Then the whole thing about your man taking advantage of her.
Yeah.
That was sick as well. But that's probably a relation to Hollywood. He was probably Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot in this. But yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, very, very. What you watch on Disney Plus?
Disney Plus.
Love
And
that. It's on Disney Plus,
It's
isn't it?
not leaving Disney Plus.
It's not even Disney Plus.
But
What's funny?
yeah, a great ending as well. Fuck me.
Yeah. And there's that sexy scene between her and Mila Kunis there.
No, yeah. Sorry, I was going to ruin it there.
Speaking of sexy scenes between two women,
Oh, okay.
The Handmaiden.
Oh, glass.
See, I did. Well, I get one good segue. Yeah, I actually don't want to talk about this movie too much. However, it's directed by this guy who did Decision to Leave recently, which I wasn't a big fan of. However, I've watched two of his movies recently, actually, both on our other favorite streaming service, Mubi, which I have a free trial for 90 days, and I'm just going to try to watch everything on it.
How far through that?
It's hard because they're all subtitled, and it's just like you really have to sit down and watch them kind of thing. Yeah. But it's this director called Park Chan-wook, and he did Old Boy and he did Handmaiden. I watched both of them actually. I'll throw both of them in here actually as well. They're just so good from a from the visuals to the directing. But there's some. Look, you've seen Decision to Leave. Yeah. You know there's like an inflection point in that movie where everything changes. That happens in these movies in ways they just blow my mind. It's just so great. It's so good. And that's why I don't want to talk about it too much. But basically, The Handmaiden, which is probably the one I'd recommend out of the two. Old Boy is good, but it just feels a lot more dated, probably because it's older. but The Handmaiden's from 2016. But it's basically about this Japanese woman who is hires this handmaiden, but little does she know that employee is working in I should have used this as a segue for the sting, but basically it's this guy is working as a con man to try and cheat her fortune and using this handmaiden to sort of help with that. But there's
Sounds a bit like Parasite.
It is a bit like no, it's not because it's so much better.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's very, very good. I highly recommend it. It's got like 150% Rotten Tomatoes, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, it won 50 Oscars. Don't fact check
50.
that. 50 Oscars, no less. Yeah. And the acting is fantastic in it as well. And you just don't. It is a bit long though. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes. But it's like when we say long, it's it's more you feel the duration of it. Okay. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I mean by it.
And there's subtitles, I suppose.
See, actually, what was a bit disappointing about the subtitles is so the movie is in Korean and Japanese, and Mubi doesn't do. Apparently, when the movie came out, like they changed color for different languages because the characters that spoke South Korean. Or what was it? The characters that spoke Japanese were like seen as less than, I think, or something. I can't remember. It was one or the other. And that's kind of important for different characters when they speak Japanese and when they speak South Korean. But I had no fucking clue because I'm not that cool. I'm working on it. I'm working on my Duolingo. It's hard.
Duolingo,
So So that'd be it's on Mubi. If you have Mubi.
Get that free trial.
Get that free trial, yeah. I think that's everything we saw the other day, is it?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No, it's everything with me.
But speaking of movies,
do
you want to talk about Marcel the Shell with some little tiny shoes on?
Tiny shoes on. Yeah, this is a 90-minute movie. Hold on. 90-minute movie, yes. Yeah. By Dean Fleischer Camp. It takes place in, I presume it's like an Airbnb kind of thing. Where we meet Marcel, who is a shell, and he has shoes on, and he is I was gonna say like real life, but he's like
it's like stop motion animation,
an animated character, but yeah, he's kind of alive, and he lives in this Airbnb, and he has a whole system. He survives alongside his
Nana,
granny, Connie. And it used to be a lot of the Shells kind of living together, but there was a situation that occurred and they all got kind of mixed up, and Connie and Marcel were left to kind of fend for themselves in this house alone. But anyway, it's just a kind of a docu-series of Marcel's life that the actual director is that actor, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, where he's creating these little shorts for YouTube of Marcel and how he kind of functions through life and how he actually deals with certain difficulties by being a shell in a big world. But it is it's super sweet. It is
all about grief and loss as well somehow.
Well, it is, but like it's so kind of intertwined that like it doesn't. I don't know if it hit you as hard as it hit me, or like. It just...
I didn't like this movie at all.
Yeah, I couldn't see myself crying at this. I know some people were crying.
Yeah, well, one of my housemates, one of my friends, and your girlfriend all went to go see it. They all know each other. They didn't just happen to go. They all went together with other people.
Yeah.
But they just have Letterboxd, and they all gave it 5 stars. And I was like, fucking get over yourselves.
Yeah.
It's grand. No, my biggest thing about this movie is, what's the fucking point? It was 90 minutes, but I was like, get to it. It's just him being like, oh, I guess I'll go out to the garden now. And then you see him go on his little fucking slide, and you're like, and? Oh, it's just...
that's the thing. It is kind of...
Serious Paddington vibes.
It's kind of like it would be nice as little shorts of seeing this nice character or whatever. Like, you really only get to the whole point of the story by the last 30 minutes. The first bit is kind of just padding to like, oh, look at this fun character. I could just see it as a movie
where the whole audience are like, oh,
yeah,
not for me.
But Jenny Slate does a good job as
she plays Marcel. Yeah. Do you know, she actually was married to and since divorced the director
Dean Fleischer. Yeah,
and they came back to do this.
Wow.
That was their
second
biggest mistake.
They were actually represented in the film as well, which is fun. I don't know. It is a fun time.
And I'm not saying it's bad. No. I'm just saying it's so not for me.
You,
so not for me.
Yeah.
So if you're a heartless bastard that likes Robin Williams and Jim Carrey and Pierce Brosnan from Navan, maybe give it a skip.
Yeah.
And have a movie podcast.
But yeah, I had a good time. It was fun. Yeah. But I just feel like in terms of like story wise and say film wise, like it's a lot of like nice little bits cut together,
vignettes in a way.
Yeah, but like as an overall arcing story, you really only get to that point by the last half an hour, and there's nice little jokes in it.
Like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shave 10 minutes off that.
Yeah, there is some nice little jokes in it. There's a kind of intertwined one with 60 Minutes. Which I thought was kind of silly, but whatever. But yeah,
it's fine.
It could have been a short. I just feel feel like it could have been like a short movie, but they obviously just decided to extend it to the 90 minutes to make it a release, a proper release.
Yeah, theatrical release.
Theatrical release. There we
go. Yeah, it's fine. I've nothing to say about it really, other than what I've said. Fucking stomp on that shell. Oh, no, that's harsh. That is harsh. No, like it's totally fine. Speaking of, I've got 2 movies here that are drastically different, and it's hard to segue. What do you want to do, Women Talking or Cocaine Bear?
You can do Women Talking.
I'll do Women Talking, yeah.
Oh, fuck, that means I have to do Cocaine.
That means you have to do the cocaine, David. Those are the rules. I'll talk about Women Talking very quickly, just because I only watched it the other day, and very good. I guess kind of the biggest, it's about this, let me get this thing up here actually, just so I have it right. Yeah, so basically it's just about this kind of group of women who sort of live in this religious colony, and then it turns out there's this sort of I suppose what we're doing. So basically what's turned out is they've sort of been lied to their whole life about these sort of demons and Satan that comes into their bedroom at night and rapes them. But it turns out it was the men. And they had been like sedating them with sort of like cow tranquilizer and stuff like that. And then it's only that when one of them get caught, they realize, oh my God, the men have been doing this whole time. So all the men have to leave the colony for some reason again. And I think it's something to do with like, they have to go to trial, or they're all on bail or something like that. So it leaves the women 2 days to decide what they're going to do. And they can either stay, they can either stay and fight, do nothing, or leave, I think. Or forgive the men or leave. And basically it's just them talking about this for 2 hours. So initially I was kind of like, I don't want to watch a movie about people talking for 2 hours. However, it's sort of well done in the sense that it kind of poses a lot of interesting questions and hypotheticals that I feel like women in general, but also women who've sort of been in these situations could relate to and be like, oh my God, I'm like, to be able to hear that being questioned in this hypothetical situation of sorts, because it's based on, well, how the movie starts is like this movie is like based on the act of female imagination. And I think that's the way of this movie basically saying like, we're not saying this happened. We're not saying all men do this. It's like, this is how, in this situation, how women would feel about this thing. And a lot of the women's anger and, like their sort of, the violation of their trust and stuff like that is just allows them to sort of have this conversation. It's similar to 12 Angry Men in a way of just having this sort of discussion about this sort of topic and all the sort of different things about it. You know, they weren't even allowed to vote before, so the first thing they do is have a vote on what to do. But yeah, it gives you a lot of talk about. It's very script heavy, so I could see it doing well for script, because I'm like, if it's just talking, you know, it's very engaging. Some great performances in it. Frances McDormand's not in it as much as you think. Jessie Buckley's great in it. Very, very good. Claire Foy is great in it. Who else was in it? Rooney Mara is very good in it. And I don't remember anyone else's name, so they're probably good in it as well. And yeah, it's really funny about it, and it's not too much of a spoiler, where the attire and the look and the sort of colour of the movie looks like it's like from the 1800s. However, at one point a car drives by and you're like, oh wow, this is recent. And I think that sort of shock helps the movie, and it's not too much because it's like it's early enough within the movie. But it's just a very interesting kind of thought piece, and I watched it at home, and like that's a good testament to a movie, because to not have the option to be on my phone and be on a laptop, and the fact that I was kind of able to stick with it. I would definitely recommend it. It's definitely not like Best Picture, like, you know, my issues about that category being too big for Best Picture nominees, but I think for scripts, and I think if they did ensemble performance, I could see it being nominated. I don't think, because everyone's so good in it, it's hard to pick a standout to like get nominated for Best Supporting or Best Leading.
Was anyone nominated?
No, I don't think so. But I know it was nominated for acting. Sorry, for script and movie. And I think it could probably win
adapted
script. Oh, adapted screenplay, because I think it's based on something or other. Definitely worth checking out.
Real life, Gary. It's adapted from real life.
That's cheating.
Okay, I think your best comparison there to 12 Angry Men is probably the thing that probably gets it clearest in my head anyway, is that it's that kind of thought piece and people discussing different things. Yeah, it makes sense, but
it's not like, so the way in 12 Angry Men, they're like breaking something down and you're making progress. It's almost as if like
going round and roundabouts, or
not round and roundabouts, but like
just posing questions,
and it's like some characters feeling very strong about it, but like the fact that they might change their mind, or they do change their mind, that's interesting in itself. And then even towards the end, when they do make a decision, or the client, what actually happens at the end, you know, it's not really. I didn't find it. I didn't like. I don't know. It's hard to say, because I didn't love it as a movie. I just was really fascinated by it, and I'd say if I watch it 2 more times, I'd say I'd like find more meanings in it. But on initial screening of it, I was just like, it kept me engaged enough. It was definitely a good thought.
Definitely, I presume it's definitely an important one for Hollywood, like to pose questions like that.
Oh yeah.
No, that's interesting to see.
I think the name's bad though.
Yeah,
I just like something talking. I'm just like lads talking. I'm just like.
Yeah,
like again, that's what the movie is. Yeah. But like, I don't know what you could call it. But I just think the title probably doesn't do it justice.
Fast and Furious cars driving.
But yeah, well, should we go on to our last movie of the month, which is Cocaine Bear, David?
Have you done your bump?
My bump of cocaine?
Yeah.
No, never. Ready? On a Sunday? No, this is the Lord's Day. I don't do my cocaine on a Sunday, David. I get a sandwich in Sam's.
Cocaine Bear is based on real life events.
Is it?
Well, semi based on real life events. It sort of happened. Anyway, drug cartel drops a load of cocaine in a forest. Was it black bear? This is important.
It is very important. I think it was a black bear.
It was a black bear.
Although it was a bit of a white bear by the end of it, to be mistaken.
Black bear gets his hands on it, eats it all, and goes rabid on some unsuspecting passerby as well as members of said cartel. That's probably enough.
Yeah, and I think,
isn't it? Yeah.
I think what you've just said that's like, oh, that sounds really exciting. And then also you have to remember, like, it is a dark comedy movie, so like, oh, there's probably some really good jokes in it.
Yeah.
That's
It starts off with one funny joke where some writing comes up on screen, and I thought, oh, that's the type of comedy we're getting. Okay, this is gonna be good, because I thought that's just kind of subtle kind of humor, funny, and then it wasn't anything like that.
No,
and the worst thing about this is that like there was just so much of it where nothing was happening.
Yeah, for a movie that's an hour and a half.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be about a bear mauling people. Like, and I know, like, some people probably say this is similar to a movie like Jaws because it's like an animal. And
yeah, because I compared it to the similar. It's kind of like Jaws and Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. Yeah, but like,
there's no real tension. I thought
the fact, even like when the bear is attacking and it's like hidden, you're like, I don't really care. You haven't built any rapport or any relationship.
I don't understand the rules of the bear.
Yeah,
that's all I wanted. The rules of the bear.
Yeah. Like sometimes it's like a ninja, and sometimes it's
what was the bear was being a ninja at one point?
Yeah,
and then also like if it gets you, it'll either kill you within 5 seconds or it'll drag you back to a cave.
Yeah,
nah,
it didn't make any sense.
I'm just very disappointed in this movie. I don't know why I had hopes for.
You were hoping for something silly.
I just wanted really like if it was so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
like what's something that's bad we've seen recently that.
Joe, I was kind of expecting Matrigan levels. Not even Matrigan. Matrigan's probably a bit.
Well, that's the same studio though.
Yeah,
it's like I tell you, because this studio did 3 things recently: Cocaine Bear, Mithrigan, or Megan, as people have come up to me and told me that they didn't know what I was talking about, or Violent Night. And I think it's so much closer to Violent Night, where it's like the premise is great, the trailer's fantastic,
and
but for some reason you just didn't have enough action or silliness in it to be engaging.
Yeah,
and you focus on characters I don't care about.
Exactly,
and that's those. I don't know if they're done by the same director, but it's just like that was the vibe I got from it.
And like, even by the start of it, even when you're introduced to every character, you know who's going to survive and who's going to die. I definitely did.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like it's very obvious. Yeah, you were saying there is one scene with an ambulance, which is brilliant.
I love it.
It gets that kind of silliness where there's so much going on, and these characters are kind of they're falling over each other to get away from the bear, and it's just kind of a little bit all hell breaks loose. But that's halfway through, and then by the end it's just the editing is horrendous.
Very bad.
It's really bad. Like there's a bit in it where like it's definitely like they referred to a body which they didn't film, and they were like, fuck, we have to just add a flashback scene, and like it happened like 5 minutes ago. It made no sense. And like that would be funny, I think, in a movie that like is silly. But like this wasn't silly. No,
it had to be either super silly or super scary, and it was neither.
It was neither. Yeah, it was like not. Yeah, as you say, it was silly but not silly enough, and it was scary but not scary enough. And like, I think our best barometer for scary is our friend Lily, who we go see the movie with.
Yeah,
and like
she watched most of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. She just was not scared by it at all. So, yeah, it's as you say, just disappointing.
You know what it is? It's Goldilocks and the Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, have a bit of this, not scary enough. Yeah. Have a bit of this, not funny enough. This movie, with Regan, just right. Yeah. Watch it on Netflix. Or we say Netflix, watch it on streaming.
Watching in the background.
Yeah. It's like Ray Liotta's last movie there.
Yeah, which is really sad.
Yeah.
He gets, well, I'm not going to say. Yeah, put it on. Wait for the bear to attack. Watch that bit, and then just tap out for 10 minutes.
Like Alden Ehrenreich was funny, but I felt miscast.
He needed to be a straight man beside a silly
I think
man.
So. Yeah,
that would have made sense. Whereas he was supposed to be the silly one, and his friend
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Yeah, Jackson Jr. was supposed to be like the straight man.
Yeah,
but again, that didn't work out because some things happened to him.
Yeah,
which was unnecessary because by the end of it. Yeah. You know what happens anyway. Anyway, it's
like I don't know why we're like. See, what I want from a movie with Cocaine Bear is I just want a script that's like, but like it had everything going for it.
Yeah,
and it was shot in Ireland.
Yeah,
Ireland looks great though.
Ireland looks great. I don't know.
I'm telling you, a week of the house. If you have a Cocaine Bear,
yeah,
bring it over. We'll nurse it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah, it felt like it was just written by 2 or 3 different people.
Yeah,
because like. Yeah, there was like 12 different storylines from different things.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But if you were to pick a movie of the month though, Probably The Whale.
The Whale.
Yeah.
Although,
what are you thinking other than that? Puss in Boots?
just for originality's sake.
Nah, I'm sticking with The Whale.
Okay.
Actor of the month, Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
Worst movie, Ant-Man the Wasp, Blade Mug. I know we're doing the awards secretly, but
Nah, Cocaine Bear is worse than Ant-Man.
no. Ant-Man is longer.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd probably watch Ant-Man again before I'd watch Cocaine Bear, just to see Michael Douglas go, ants.
Watch that socialism joke.
The socialism joke. That was good. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, we talk about what's coming up in March as we wrap this up. Creed 3, more Creed 3, please.
Supposed to be good.
Supposed to be quite good. It's all about Adonis Creed running into Kang the Conqueror and biting him in a boxing match.
Michael Jordan can also direct movies.
Apparently so.
He does,
Man has it all.
He does
good
basketball.
looks, acting, basketball. He's also the Human Torch. Flame on, David.
Flame
if he
on.
doesn't, wouldn't it be great in the middle of his match? He goes, flame on. It's the Human Torch versus Kang the Conqueror.
Oh,
You'd love to see
man.
it. Yeah, look, I don't really give a shit anymore about these kind of boxing movies. Creed.
No, that's fair.
I'm kind of like the second one. I was just like, that's fine.
I thought the first one was incredible.
It's good. Like the first was very, very good. But like,
second one, I agree, is it's just a bit fine.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows? Anyway, speaking of could be fine, Scream 6.
Oh, big
You
time,
scream, I scream, we all scream. It's Scream 6.
Ghostface.
It's Ghostface. Yeah, what's interesting about this one is it's now they've taken it out of Woodsboro into New York. It says Woodsboro on the screen here.
Yeah, sorry.
So unless I
No,
fucked
do you know
myself.
what I was thinking? I was thinking It's in Derry.
Derry. Yeah, have you seen that new movie called Welcome? It's a new
Welcome to
miniseries.
Derry, yeah.
Love it.
Welcome to Free Derry.
Free Derry. I was going to
That's not kept
David, no politics, David. We said at the beginning.
Yeah. So sorry, we're going to New York.
We come to New York. There's Ghostface. He's
The
on
Knicks
the,
are never.
I tell you, the Knicks aren't getting the game 7, and they're on the subway.
The Mets are still shit.
Rudy Giuliani was not doing politics. Yeah, look, I'm conscious about this one because I feel like it came out very quickly after the last one,
Big time.
and I'm like, how
Did they
much?
film these back to back?
No, but the number 5 was filmed. It got delayed because of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
But Nev Campbell's not back for this, and that was only announced last February. So the fact that they shot a movie off that decision, I'm like, how important was their character? I.e., how good is the script that you can just take out what could be a main character and it'll still be fine?
Yeah.
Undecided. Look, I'm interested. It'll be a good time. I kind of, between that and Barbarian, I like a movie that, subverts the expectations and knows the genre it's in.
Yeah.
So a big fan of that. Speaking of dog trap, at 65 with Adam Driver.
Oh, wow.
I'm not looking forward to that at all. It's an hour and a half though.
Yeah.
92 minutes. It's all about a catastrophic crash on an unknown planet. Pilot Mills. Sorry, I'm blind. Quickly discovers he is stranded on Earth 65 million years ago.
So he
He crashes onto Earth, but it's 65 million years ago.
In a spaceship.
In a spaceship carrying other people. But one of the girls wakes up. Her name's Koa. I have written down here. She's from Woodsboro. And there's just a load of fucking dinosaurs. And it's all about him shooting dinosaurs. It looks so fine. I think it's directed and written by the people who did A Quiet Place. Who wrote Quiet Place, I think.
This is I'm getting vibes to Planet of the Apes, but not the good one, the Mark Wahlberg one.
Hey, I hear a bit of a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Where are your feathers?
Yeah.
Nah, couldn't be bothered. I'm just, I'm like, it's coming out the same week as Scream. I'll go see that.
What range of Rotten Tomatoes score are we looking at here?
Like, what would I go see?
Less than 10.
Nah, because Adam Driver, like, he wouldn't do it unless.
Yeah, but they had this discussion on the Weekly Planet that he hasn't really done a bad movie. I know he's in Star Wars, but like,
Nah, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like he's a weird dude, unless he got paid a shit ton of money. But I feel like
this could be part of a contract or something.
maybe it is. I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't pick a particularly bad movie. I feel like he would. He seems like a guy who likes a good script.
Although he was in White Noise, which was muck.
But see, that's what I mean. Like, that's him being friends with Noah Baumbach.
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't know. Tell you what movie I'm actually quite interested in, and I didn't know it was coming out until I saw a trailer for a movie called Tetris. Have you seen this?
This is the guy who played Elton John, Taron Egerton.
Yeah,
I did see this. Yeah,
looks like good fun. Love the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's all about basically this in 1988, an American video game salesman Henry Rogers discovers the video game Tetris, and when he sets out to bring the game to the world, he enters a dangerous web of lies and corruption behind the Iron Curtain. Loving it. It looks fun.
Political, Gary.
We don't do politics. Moving on to Pearl.
No, that could be good. See, again, when I first heard about that Tetris movie, I thought it was going to be like a Lego movie, and I was getting very worried.
Ugh, that would have been bad.
But this seems
it's a bit of espionage,
Yeah.
Soviet Russia kind of vibes, the Cold War vibes. Not Soviet Russia, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm look, I don't know.
Building a wall.
I'm interested about it. Yeah, with Tetris blocks. Should have done that. That would have been very inappropriate. Dun, 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 dun. No. Pearl is also out. Paddy's Day Pearl. It's the sequel to X. And it's all about the old woman from the farm in X. But it's what happened to her in her life.
Cool.
It's supposed to be good. I didn't love X. Mia Goth.
Prequel,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the second movie in the trilogy they're looking to do for this sort of thing. It looks fun. I don't know. It looks like a scary movie. I don't know. I didn't love the first one, but I might go see this. I'll see.
Cool.
It's on Paddy's Day though. I'll be busy. We'll be away.
Are we?
No, probably not. Also coming out the same day, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Dave. It's all about Billy Batson and the foster kids, and they all have superpowers, and now the Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are coming to kill them.
Yeah, this could go either way, I think.
I loved the first Shazam movie.
Yeah,
that was quite fun. I thought
Zachary Levi was very charismatic.
Very charismatic. Jokes were good.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, one of the best jokes in that movie is when Mark Strong and him are like talking in the sky, but they're like 100 meters apart, and he's like, I can't hear what you're saying. So there was some good jokes in it. It came across very Deadpool-y though.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is part of this whole DC thing. Like, these characters would be gone now after the Flash movie, probably.
Yeah.
So like, who cares? Though I think the one thing that'd be interesting, if The Rock showed up in it, which I know he won't, I'd be interested. But
I'd be interested to see if this makes more money than Black Adam.
It won't. No way in hell.
Okay.
This is gonna be bomb big time. Yeah. This will make. I'll tell you. No, the mark will be if it makes more money than Birds of Prey. The Emancipation of Harley Quinn. And full names only.
Okay. Gary O'Brien.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, don't know. But I think the movie I'm probably most looking forward to. Yeah, it's probably John Wick Chapter 4.
I have a controversial opinion of the John Wick franchise. They're all of very similar standard and they're all fine.
Yeah, but it's great. I don't like. Yeah, you go in, you watch it. It's a good time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think I remember the last time I watched it, I kind of got sick of it after about 15 minutes. I was like, yeah,
that's
right.
not great.
No,
do you remember that third one where they're breaking into the cabinets and getting all the knives and showing each other? Yeah, I had a great time with that. I don't know. They're like.
Which was the one on the horse? Was that the last one?
I think that was the last one. So yeah.
Okay.
And there's another horse in this
and
one.
And then
as well.
there's a dog.
There's dogs in all of them, David.
No, the dog. Do you remember the dogs fighting?
Yeah, that's the third one as well.
Oh, okay. What happened in the second one?
I don't know. He walks back into town. I don't remember. Look, they're a bit. To me, they're like my Fast and Furious movies in that like they're all roughly the same and they're just fun, bombastic.
See, yeah. What I'm saying is, I'm sure I'll have a good time watching it. I feel like I won't remember what happened afterwards.
But look, it'll be fun. I don't know. It's the last one maybe, and then they're doing another one with Anna de Armas.
That's nice to see.
Yeah.
Is she in this?
Maybe. After credit scene.
Could be.
Her and Thanos.
Do we know who the bad guy in this is?
Yep.
Okay.
Don't
tell me.
Do I know? No. Is there one? Yeah.
There will be one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'm
looking forward to it.
I don't know if I'm looking for. What I'm most looking forward to.
If you told me Creed was coming out in November, I'd be like, sure.
No, I think I want to see that. Now that I know it's supposed to be good. Plus, Jonathan Majors looks scary.
He's so scary.
He looks so big.
He's too big.
We made this joke in the last podcast.
Did we?
Was that not Tom
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I did too many of these. But that's this podcast, David. What do we have anything else?
Congratulations, no.
That's
it.
We're done.
Another one.
That's the end of your long weekend.
Got it
sir.
in the books.
You can go home.
Oh, that's great. Okay, see it.
But no, thank you, David, for doing this. Always much appreciated. And also to everyone listening to this. I got you Bunsen.
Yeah, I suppose.
But also want to thank everyone who's listened to this and all the other ones. If you've any any thoughts about the movies of the last month or the next month, do let us know at Reading in the Peers or on our email. Let's start plugging that, readingthepeers@gmail.com. Let's see what comes through. But also you can follow us, like I said, on Instagram at Reading in the Peers, on TikTok at Reading in the Peers, but also on YouTube. We're also on Letterboxd. I'm Gary O'Brien, spelt a funny way, and David is DScanlon10
on all the socials.
On all the socials. You subscribe on Spotify and follow us on Apple and other such platforms.
We want to hear your Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah, stories. If you watch Knock at the Cabin, let us know. We kind of need to know about that. And
I feel that could be an us thing.
An us thing.
Yeah, like we've just seen so many movies now. We just keep going.
Yeah,
we just keep coming up with our own better.
We're just
movies.
better at making movies. Is what you're saying?
Than M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan, yeah. So yeah, do let us know. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Good luck.
Take it easy. So here's my thoughts about Shinpei.